The village of Jauhar was surrounded by dense forests and eerie silence. It was a place where the sun seemed reluctant to shine, where the wind carried whispers from the past, and where fear was etched into the very soil. The villagers lived in a state of quiet dread, for they all knew the tale of the cursed mansion that stood on the outskirts. A place no one dared to enter after sunset. The mansion belonged to the Nawab of Jauhar, a powerful ruler whose greed and cruelty knew no bounds. Decades ago, he had betrayed his people, stolen their wealth, and tortured those who opposed him. His wife, Begum Zareen, was a woman of unparalleled beauty, but her heart was heavy with sorrow. She had been forced into marriage and lived in constant misery. Legends spoke of her tragic end, though the truth remained buried within the walls of the mansion. One fateful night, the mansion was set ablaze. Screams echoed through the valley as the Nawab and his household perished in the flames. The villagers believed it was divine justice, yet their relief was short. Strange occurrences began soon after. Shadowy figures roamed the fields, whispers of the dead filled the air, and anyone who ventured near the ruins met a gruesome fate. Years passed, and the story of Jauhar's haunted mansion became a warning, passed down through generations. However, curiosity is a dangerous thing. A group of young travelers arrived in the village, dismissing the warnings as mere superstition. Among them was Rafiq, an ambitious journalist eager to uncover the truth. His friends Samir, Anaya, and Bilal shared his excitement, though a lingering unease gripped them as they stood before the ruined mansion. The gates creaked open as they stepped inside. The air was thick with dust and decay. The grand hall bore the scars of the fire, yet remnants of its past grandeur remained chandeliers, hanging precariously, portraits with hollow eyes watching them, and walls that seemed to breathe. As they explored further, they found a staircase leading to the upper floors. The silence was oppressive, broken only by their footsteps and the occasional rustling of unseen forces. Anaya, the most skeptical of the group, scoffed at the rumors. "Ghosts don't exist," she declared. But the moment the words left her lips, a chilling gust of wind swept through the corridor, slamming the doors shut. The group exchanged nervous glances. Their laughter faded, replaced by the realization that they were no longer alone. Samir's flashlight flickered, and in that brief moment of darkness, they saw her, a spectral figure draped in a tattered red sari, her eyes burning with unspoken agony. Begum Zareen. She stood motionless, her face obscured by the shadows, but her presence was undeniable. Panic set in as they scrambled to find an exit, but the mansion had trapped them. Rafiq, driven by his need for answers, stayed back. "We need to understand. What happened here?" he insisted. He reached for an old, charred journal lying on a broken table. As he flipped through the pages, the past unfolded before his eyes. Begum Zareen had not perished in the fire. She had been betrayed by the Nawab, locked in a hidden chamber beneath the mansion as he fled with his stolen riches. Consumed by rage and despair, she had cursed the mansion with her dying breath, vowing that no soul would find peace within its walls. A wailing cry erupted, shaking the mansion to its core. The walls cracked, the floor trembled, and the shadows reached for them. Anaya screamed as invisible hands clawed at her. Bilal collapsed, his breath shallow, his eyes wide with terror. Samir pulled him to his feet, urging him to move. Rafiq, clutching the journal, shouted, "We must set her free." He ran towards the fireplace, where an old iron lock concealed a hidden door. With a forceful push, it creaked open, revealing a narrow passage. The air was thick with decay, and at the end of the passage lay the remains of Begum Zareen, her skeletal hand clutching a rusted key. Tears welled in Rafiq's eyes as he whispered, "We know your pain, we will end it." The mansion groaned as if responding to his words. Rafiq reached for the key and, with trembling hands, placed it beside her. A gust of wind swirled around them, carrying with it a whisper of gratitude. The shadows receded, the oppressive air lightened, and for the first time in decades, the mansion exhaled a sigh of relief. The group stumbled out into the night, their faces pale, their hearts heavy. The mansion stood silent, its curse lifted, but its story forever etched in their souls. As they looked back, the figure of Begum Zareen stood by the doorway, her face serene. Before fading into the night, Jauhar would never be the same again. The village of Jauhar was surrounded by dense forests and eerie silence. It was a place where the sun seemed reluctant to shine, where the wind carried whispers from the past, and where fear was etched into the very soil. The villagers lived in a state of quiet,